This look at one of the 90s many rapping athletes is brought to you by my Patreon. For $2 a month you can join my Discord server, $5 a month you get early access to my videos, and if the Patreon reaches $400 a month, I will do a ranking of every number 4 year-end hit. Keep in mind, I can't monetize my videos because copyright content. It sucks, I know, but it is what it is. Like to give a shout out to the newest $5 patron, Alex Flores. Thanks for joining. If you'd like to support this channel financially, click the link below. And now, here's this thing. Are you ready for some sports ball? Ah yes, we are in the most wonderful time of the sports year right now. Football season is underway, and we're not talking about the kind where twiggy little guys kick a ball around. No, we're talking about the kind where a bunch of brute men put on padding and fight each other over who gets to put their hands on an egg. Yeah, that's right, football! And also baseball. Parallel to the start of the football season, Major League Baseball is in its postseason, where 8 teams get into a dogfight culminating in the World Series at the end of October. Football and baseball. Imagine trying to do both at the same time.
Don't I know you?
When you think about that, 2 names come to mind. One of them is Bo Jackson, a beast on the gridiron and a wizard on the diamond. The other is this guy.
He's on his way for a touchdown. Deion saluting as he goes.
Deion Sanders, Neon Deion, prime time. Like Bo, he was a beast on the gridiron. Like Bo, he was a wizard on the diamond. Unlike Bo, he actually played an NFL game and an MLB postseason game on the same day. That's impressive. And Deion had something else Bo didn't have. A rap career.
You see, I played my best when the game's on the line. I guess that's why they call me prime time.
That happened and we let it happen.
So say hi to the bad guy.
Plain and simple, I make my cash.
Yes, in 1994, Deion Sanders took time out of his busy schedule of all that stuff he was doing to make a rap album, Prime Time. I'm a little disappointed he just went by his real name and not Neon Deion. But yes, that actually did happen. We actually did let it happen, and we're gonna take a look at it right now.
Yeah. You know, ever since I turned pro in 1989.
Let's start with the lead single from this album. It's called Must Be the Money. Well, first off, I probably don't need to analyze and explain to you why Deion Sanders made an album. I mean, it's right there in the title, Must Be the Money. Oh, sure, he's made a fortune off of playing 2 sports at once and numerous commercial appearances, but it's not quite enough. No, actually, it's about how he has money and he's just living the high life. Yeah, this just screams vanity project, doesn't it? You probably won't be surprised to learn that this single failed to chart on the Hot 100. That probably doesn't bother Neon Deion. I mean, listen to how he's singing. It's like he doesn't even care he sounds like a lizard man. Sure must be the money that's making him sound like that. He dropped some pretty good advice at the end, though.
I say, hey, don't let money change you, because personally, it's gonna change my address, my phone number.
Yeah, don't let money change you. Let it change everything around you. Not gonna lie, I think it's probably the best advice to give anyone in regards to handling one's money. Well, anyway, let's back up to the first song on the album. Prime Time Keeps on Ticking. Wow, nice interpolation. Get it? Because his name is Prime Time, and Prime Time keeps ticking, and that's how the original goes?
Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping.
Oh, it actually goes time keeps on slipping. Oh well, same difference.
I flow with the best and I might even sing, hey. You bring the dog out of me.
Okay, that is probably not really Deion singing. Come on, his rapping voice is terrible. What makes him think we're gonna buy that as his singing voice?
And you can ride the pony, and if the real horny, then we watch you on the Sony Kim smile. Now you own candid camera.
And we got a candid camera reference to making a sex tape. Primetime programming indeed? I'd like to state at this point that no lyric sites have any lyrics for any of the songs, so if I mishear anything, I don't care.
So let me flumps on the MIC. I'm in Cincinnati in the place to be.
Okay, I realize he was playing baseball for the Reds at the time, but I'm pretty sure even Reds and Bungles players wouldn't put Cincinnati high on the list of places to be. Unless, I don't know, you like eating Skyline chili and listening to WKRP?
You know,
Envy, why do they envy me?
Alright, let's move on to the next track. It's called Why You Envy Me. I already do not have high hopes for this one.
2112 WTIME. Today we have an exclusive interview with the controversial Deion Sanders.
Oh god, it's starting off with a radio show sketch. Yeah, I have even lower hopes for this one now. I mean, granted, it was the 90s and rappers were doing this kind of shit all the time, but still.
Way back in the day, a player had to make so take a look at me now.
Wow, nice Cool in the Gang sample. Made even better by that Phil Collins reference. Well, let's answer the eternal question. Why does everyone envy Deion Sanders?
they say I got an ego, but it ain't easy to be me. So
Okay, so they envy him because he's got an ego and he plays two sports at once, and it's just not easy to do that. So come on, let's cut poor Neon Deion some slack here.
We're ready to take all calls, so just dial 1-800-YOU-ENVY.
And now it's turning into a call-in show sketch. Gee, I wonder what the people have to say about the great Deion Sanders.
Man, hey, that's all good, man. Don't worry about them busters, partner. Keep on up and up.
Of course, they're gonna call in to fillet him and be like, oh, don't worry about the haters. They just envy you because you're so great and stuff. If this album didn't scream Vanity Project before, it's shouting it high from the fucking mountaintops now.
all out.
Now, if there's one positive I can say about this album, it's that I like the beats. I am kind of a sucker for West Coast G-Funk, and there's a copious amount of it on here. But that said, if there's one album that immediately comes to mind when listening to this, it's The Funky Headhunter, MC Hammer's attempt at a West Coast G-Funk album.
We like the girls with the bump and a bump and a bump.
Yeah, the one with pumps and a bump where he flashes his heart on. That one.
We can roll, y'all. We can stroll, y'all. We can roll on the striggy stroll.
Now, there's a reason why that album comes to mind. It's because Deion's album was released by Hammer's record label, Bust It Records. Basically, we have the Hammer Man to thank for Deion's rap career. How did that happen?
Kicking it at the top because I'm too legit to quit saying.
Well, let's go back in time a little bit. The year was 1991. MC Hammer dropped Too Legit to Quit, which went up to number 2 on the album charts and spawned a smash hit single in the title track. That same year, Deion was a defensive star for an Atlanta Falcons team that was truly something special. It was the last season they would spend at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium before moving into the Georgia Dome. And they were gonna go out in style, getting a winning record for the first time in nearly a decade. They had Brett Favre, Chris Miller having his best year as a pro, a star wide receiver in Andre Rison, who would go on to some infamy of his own, and a flashy coach in Jerry Glanville. All they needed was one more piece to put it all together. And that piece was MC Hammer. That season, Hammer had become to the Falcons what Spike Lee is to the Knicks. He was the team's celebrity superfan, cheering on the sidelines, even go as far as having Falcons players in the Too Legit to Quit video. And speaking of which, this Falcons team was known as the Too Legit Falcons. And legit they were, flying into the playoffs. They played the rival New Orleans Saints, the only time those two teams would meet in the playoffs, and they would beat them. And then they went to Washington and lost to a football team that would eventually win the Super Bowl.
Hooked up with Hammer and it all was good.
But Deion's friendship with Hammer was still strong enough that he decided that he wanted to break into the music industry. So now let's get back to that attempt with a song about how it feels to be me.
Crime is easy to make, but there's a big difference between you and me, see?
Oh, it's a song about what it's like to be Deion. You know, like all the other songs.
Me, myself, and I. Me plays football, myself plays baseball, and I rhyme. Number 24 minus number 21 equal 3 individuals divided into one.
Wow. That has got to be the most clever set of lines on the entire album. Like, let's back up from the start here.
Me, myself, and I.
First off, you are no De La Soul.
It's just me, myself, and I.
But see, this is creative because he's like making people out of that phrase.
Me plays football, myself plays baseball, and I rhyme. Number 24 minus number 21.
Haha, get it? Because 21 is his football number and 24 is his baseball number. Oh, and then there's this line.
Equal 3 individuals divided into one.
24 minus 21 is 3. And that's the number of things he's trying to be at once. It's like some kind of schizo-mad scientist shit or something like that.
So I live, then I die. If you try,
Well, I say it's time for a commercial break. We'll be right back.
To Stanley from Deion. I wonder what it is. Oh, it's Deion's shoe. It's Deion Sanders' shoe. This is the shoe that Deion wears in the field. And now it's mine, all mine, and nobody can take it from me. Happy holidays to me.
Deion Sanders intercepts.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Are you trying to catch this?
What's with this sweet new Deion?
Hey, have you lost weight?
It could only be this sweet new cereal. New Honey Frosted Wheaties. The sweet new frosted flake that's kicked with Wheaties energy for a primetime taste. So what's got Deion acting so sweet?
While I'm up, can I get anyone a beverage?
New Honey Frosted Wheaties. It's sweet energy.
What a year Luck, RG3, and Russell Wilson have had.
Rookies now are more dominant than ever.
More dominant than ever. How about my rookie year?
Oh, did you play football?
Did I play football? Please.
The only question left is who will be the next rookie sensation? It's anybody's guess.
Man for the combine?
Name?
Leon Sandcastle.
Who's the new kid?
Sandcastle?
Sandcastle. Looks like an ugly Deion Sanders.
No idea where this kid came from, but he's really making a name for himself.
Yeah, there's a guy that's telling you about Sandcastle.
Ton of buzz on Sandcastle.
He ran a 4.2.
4.240?
You guys are freak.
Are you attracted to him?
Obviously.
We should watch a draft together.
With the first pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Leon Sandcastle.
Watch the Combine and Draft on NFL Network.
Have we ever met before? I don't think so.
Because the next rookie sensation probably won't be Leon Sandcastle.
Okay, we're back. Let's finish this.
It's so real. Prime time in the house.
Now, you probably noticed that these songs are Deion Sanders rapping about how he's Deion Sanders. And that's pretty much what the album is.
Up and pump, baby. Blow the house down. This is the house so prime, and only I can tear it down.
Track after track of Deion reminding us of who he is, while coasting on generic hip-hop lingo. And as much as I love that G-Funk sound in general, you can only have so much. Like, take this song, Heidi Heidi Hey. Title sticks out alright, and that hook is pretty catchy, and like the laid-back beat. But as far as content goes, it's just more of the same.
From side to side, from left to right, Rhymes in the house, time to party tonight.
Yeah, it's fine on its own, but this is the 12th track on the album. By that point, it's already set in how tedious this whole thing is. So I hope you'll forgive me if I skip over most of the album. But there's a few songs towards the end that I still want to highlight.
Bring me a dream.
The track after that one is Papa San. Remember that Shaquille O'Neal song about his father? But it was actually about the father figure that raised him because his biological didn't bother? Well, here's Deion Sanders paying tribute to his biological. Deion lost his biological father Mims in 1993, and much like Shaq's biological, his didn't really bother either. He left the family when Deion was 2 and was also pretty much a drug addict. But still, losing a parent is never easy to go through, and he was hit really hard with this. He left the Braves to attend his dad's funeral. There was talk about how he wasn't going to come back to baseball because then he'd be coming off the bench. So he was dealing with a lot of things at once. And you can really feel the grief he's putting on record with this one.
We haven't done all the things we had to do, said the things we had to say.
He's lamenting about how there were so many things he'd never get to do with his dad, while also trying to be grateful for the times he did spend with him, good and bad. Yeah, I'd say this is way more real than that Shaq song, which got laughable at times. Yeah, if there's one positive thing I can say about this, it's that it's not rapping Shaq. We'll get to that at some point. I promise you.
Yeah, something about that woman.
And now let's go to the track after this one. Something About That Woman. Wow, I really do not have high hopes for this one. Well, the beat is pretty cool. I really like that robotic synth-based sound going on. Hook sounds familiar. I can't quite put my finger on it. But let's see how down Deion is with the ladies.
Hard heels on the pavement, the waving of a miniskirt. Push the man in the wrist,
Alright, so Deion sees a hot chick and is so impressed by how she looks. So impressed, he might even sing. Yeah, I'd probably believe that as Deion's actual singing voice. You know what? I'm kinda digging this so far. Let's keep going.
But the game was my mother being the moms and the father in my neighborhood. She stood like a Nubian queen.
Okay, well, this verse is about his mother. It's a nice tribute and all, but I don't know. To go from rapping about someone you'd want to bang to rapping about your mom, that's like... We're still not going there.
So give respect to the women today, cause if not, you might find something lying on the highway.
Oh, okay, that last verse is how you gotta respect women. I get it now. This is pretty good. It's not sleazy, he's not drooling over women like they're objects, he's just appreciating women in general for who they are. I swear to God I heard that hook before, though. Yeah, I mean, it's catchy, but I know I heard it somewhere. Maybe in something I previously reviewed? Oh, there it is! Yeah, he interpolates the breakdown from that awful New Jack Swing version of My Girl. Yeah, it's the same thing. He just replaces My Girl with That Woman. I gotta say, it's bold of Deion to be paying homage to that song. So soon after Suave got arrested and sentenced to life in prison for arson, that he didn't commit. Hashtag free swabs. The last track is a Miami-based jam because it was the early mid-90s and everyone wanted to try their hand at a whoomp. There it is. And that was Deion Sanders' album. It obviously didn't sell, but it did make it to number 70 on the album charts somehow. But if you look up Deion Sanders on Spotify, you get a different album, the Encore Remix from 2005. It's actually just a repackaged version of Primetime with a couple of bonus tracks thrown in. One of those bonus tracks is some remix of Must Be the Money. The other is his soundtrack single. Now, let's think back to 90s movies. What comes to mind? It was Street Fighter. Yes, Street Fighter the movie. Specifically the one from 1994 that has Jean-Claude Van Damme as an unconvincing Guile, Ming-Na Wen as the second worst movie version of Chun-Li, Kylie Minogue literally picked off the streets to play Cammy, and we can't forget Raul Julia's performance as M. Bison.
Game over!
To say he was the only actor really giving it his all is an understatement. Especially considering at the time of the shooting, he was pretty much on his deathbed. But he decided to get one last paycheck to pass down to his family, and he took the role of M. Bison because his kids were huge fans of Street Fighter. It's up there with Overdrawn at the Memory Bank as the worst film he's been in. But his performance is considered one of the best he has ever put out.
For I beheld Satan as he fell from heaven like lightning!
And meanwhile, you had Van Damme snorting coke and showing up late to film shoots and just fucking around in general. Well, here's what Deion Sanders brought to the soundtrack. Alright, this one's called Straight to My Feet. Let's see how much of a Hadouken this is. Okay, first off, wow, you definitely are no De La Soul. I'm not gonna complain though. I do like that sample in general. It sounds good anywhere, especially in an awesome G-Funk groove like this. And here comes the hammer. Yes, this is a collab between Deion and Hammer. Still very much deep in his funky headhunter phase. Honestly, I don't really have much to say except this song's a banger. Yeah, I actually really like this one. In fact, if I were to pick one Deion Sanders song I'd recommend, it would be this. It's definitely kitschy on principle, but even out of the context of the movie or Deion or Gangsta Hammer, it's still every bit as fun to listen to. Oh, and then there's this part here.
All right, here we go.
That's just awesome. Really keeps that groove going too. And that was pretty much it for Deion Sanders the rapper. One album and a soundtrack single, and Deion went back to his 2 day jobs. He kept playing throughout the 90s until retiring. Then in 2004, he came out of retirement to play with the Ravens. We sucked though, and after 2 seasons of whatever the hell we were doing, he retired again for real this time. The only review I found of this album came from AllMusic, where they end by saying, "It's not just for sports fans, it's not for anyone." I respectfully disagree, because there is one person that I know this album is 100% for. And that's the guy who made it. Deion Sanders made this album for Deion Sanders. He didn't go into this with any real attempt to make it into the rap world and get in with the likes of Dr. Dre and Biggie Smalls. He did it just to do it. And if you come into it expecting nothing less, then it's probably worth at least listening to it once just to listen to it. Even then, it's not something I would listen to all the way through. It just is what it is. A novelty album at best. And if you just expect that, then you probably won't be disappointed. May primetime keep on ticking forever.
Prime time got hard, so it ain't over yet.